Live it, breathe it, love it. All sports, double coverage. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're living, loving, and breathing all sports. I'm with the great man, Manny from Luca Nation. How are we, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Now, for those who might be tuning in and wondering where Domma is, well, the title is Many a Time to Sip Pina Coladas. And that's, to the reference to the great man across the screen and Domma himself, who's sipping on Pina Coladas out in Manny's home country, Hawaii. And he's on holidays. He's taken a hiatus. We're 93 episodes in, and this is the first episode Domma hasn't fronted up. It's disappointing. But the show must go on, Manny. The show must go on, as you know, running your own show over at Luca Nation with, the great men Andrew and Cage. How are we, sir? Here he is, VK. Good to have you on live. Obviously, we're doing this one a lot more friendly time zone for yourself. We got Manny on as a special guest. We are going to run through a few things. First and foremost, off the top of the show, we're going to kick off with the NBA playoffs, Manny, where there has been a lot of action. Where at the moment we got the Bucks are down, 8 points here, 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Could be potentially losing game 2. DeRozan has come out massively in this game and did say, I'm not going to shoot that bad again after the first game. And he proved it. I mean, he's 15-28. He's 37 points, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. This game is in the balance. We'll see what happens. We'll commentate on that one as we go through, but we'll come back to it after by the time we talk through some of the other series and the other games. That one will be finished, and we'll have a bit of a chat about it. But which series, Manny? Let me ask you, are you most pumped for? Because we've seen today. We'll start with the Boston and Nets, but tell me that first, and then we'll start with the Boston and.
So my favorite series, I think, is going to go to Game 7 is the Celtics Nets. Right now it's 2-0, but I mean Celtics were at home in a hostile environment. They
are tough to play there, and renowned tough to play there. Like they go to a lot of deep series, which people need to realize. Like that's a tough crowd.
Yeah, and I mean they even have that sprinkle effect of how they hate Kyrie, so it's even worse when he gets the ball. A lot of people aren't realizing that Kyrie's also on Ramadan, so he's not eating during the day. And he could only eat when the sunlight goes down, right? He's eating, his first meal is during the game. Like he runs back and grabs a banana. So that could be a factor in this series as well. But I think once they go back to Brooklyn with their home crowd, they're going to take 2. It's going to be tied up 2-2 is my opinion, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, KD's got to play better because they've shut him out in the first 2 games, and I mean, that just shows is that the recipe to success. I mean, shut out their best player, force Kyrie to have to go for 50 plus for them to potentially win because KD's struggling. Don't get me wrong, he got open looks, but when they're able to shut him down early and take his confidence out of the game a little bit, I mean, he has faltered in the last 2 games, but I fully expect he is one of the great ones. And I mean, you don't keep them down too long.
No.
But 2 games in a row, he struggled. So that's surprising if you ask me. But that series, in my opinion, is going to get 7 games. Like now that that's 2-0, I think the Nets will fight back. It will go to, I'd be interested to see what the line bet is in the next game at the Nets home court. I mean, that might be a sneaky play if you don't mind a punt. So keep an eye on that. Check out the lines as they release.
Ben Simmons is coming back too, I think.
That's
right.
That will help a lot on defense. I mean, I think he'll be able to play amazing defense on Tatum, who's been phenomenal in the first 2 games. He's definitely been the standout player. Hit a massive 3 down the stretch. He had to sort of put the game to bed today. And yeah, I mean, just hasn't shied away from the moment. But can he do it on the road? We got to just see how that pans out. That's going to be it's a cracking series. All right. We will move on to 76ers Raptors. Joel Embiid, did you see catch the end of it?
He's a beast.
Spin around 0.9 of a second left on the shot clock, and hits the dagger three, gives them, barely any time to get a shot off. 33 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, Harden fouled out late, so I mean, it was just a big dose of Joel Embiid get us a bucket, and in the end, he did.
Yep. Yeah, he's. I think that's going to be a sweep. I don't think Raptors are grabbing a game from them.
Yeah, how much do you think that, like, I talked about a guy like Scotty Barnes early on in the year. I said, look, I've watched a few games of the Raptors, and I've seen this guy. I think he's a bit of a talent. Obviously got injured, and that threw out a bit of their rotation, and one less bigs. Any love for the Sixers after bashing them last week, Sauce? Yeah, look, love for the Sixers. They're going to sweep the Raptors. We need, probably this is a best case scenario for a guy like Joel Embiid, who's renowned for getting injuries. Sweep the Raptors, get in the sheds, recuperate, and come out against the next team who they have to verse. Which, by the looks of it, some of these other in the East, yeah, I think they could be going a bit deeper. We'll see about the Heat series in a bit. We'll talk about that one actually now, where they did catch the win yesterday. Then 2-0 up. They do have to go to Atlanta, so can Ice Trey steal some games? I think they can. They just got shut out at times. Maybe in Atlanta they can do a bit better. But I mean, Jimmy Butler, 45 points. Yeah.
I said it on my show earlier that Jimmy Butler, I kind of did it as a joke, but it's all serious that he could probably average 30 points if he wanted to per game, but he's more of a team player and just wants to win, right? But he has that talent to take over games when he wants to. And Trae Young, kind of like Kevin Durant, is struggling because they're actually playing defense on him.
But they're forcing him on the defensive side of the ball to play defense, which makes you more tired, making you run around screens, running off picks. So yeah, they're doing a real good job at making him work, and I mean that's showing. I mean, I'm not going to lie, some of the shot selection I see from Trae is, when you're struggling, you got to have other ways to get shots. Some crossovers, threes where you're 3 meters behind the 3-point line. I know you can hit those, but you're struggling. It's probably not the shot you want to be trying to get. Get something going towards the ring. It's a bit better, get your confidence. But nonetheless, I think the Heat are going to win that series. And maybe they get one game. Maybe, you never know. They might, if they send it back 2-2, it's series on, but they need to win the next 2 games. Heat go in there, we get one game. I think it's over. Now we will talk about it's 56 seconds left and Milwaukee's only down by 4. So we'll come back to that game. But we'll talk about the Pels and the Suns to start off on the West. I'm calling it now. I'm going to say this here on the show for the first time live, and anyone else, so I'm on record. The Pelicans are going to win this series. I just think book it down. I know they play well as a team, but you're now expecting a guy like, let's be honest, Chris Paul at his age to now give you 30 plus a night, and you're expecting a Mikal Bridges who can step up to give you 25 plus, right, consistently in games, in the biggest time in the playoffs. Brandon Ingram is on an absolute tear. They went in there, they pinched the game. They've got it back on home court advantage. They need to go into New Orleans and take care of business. I mean, I think they're going to win the series, and it could be the shock that the Suns are out in the first round. And they're saying Booker's out for 2 games at least. Hamstring. You tell me what hamstring, fixes itself in 5 days.
It doesn't.
He's out for the rest of the series, surely.
Yep. And I was saying it earlier to Cage that CJ McCollum is probably the best trade that happened this year. He's a monster now, like with the Pelicans. And I know they announced Zion's out for the rest of the season, but if they make a run, I've seen him dunk, and you could see him doing these windmill dunks. Does he come back come back and it's like, hey, next series I'm back?
Play off the bench. Give him 20 minutes a game off the bench.
Yeah.
with the second unit. Imagine you put him in there with the second unit. He just comes with 20 minutes, 20 points. Like
Yeah,
it just literally
exactly.
be a joke. Like, yeah, just interesting. I think that would be one of the most craziest things for like the card market if that did happen, to see what
Yep.
happens to Zion cards, which have fallen a hell of a lot. So well, I mean, if it did come in, they made it to the second round, and who knows? But very, very interesting. I think the Pels can win that series. Suns are in danger with Booker being out. He's clearly been the best player for them all season. Yeah, it's always tough when you get injuries, especially to key guys. The other game is which one was it? We will skip over this one quickly because we know this is pretty much done. I think they've gone up 2-0 Warriors. They're looking good. Steph, they've got Steph Curry coming off the bench and they're still winning by 20. Not that he comes off the bench and just lights it apart. Jordan Poole looks like probably one of the steals of the draft. In a sense, a lot of people early did speak about him, but showing that he can do it in the playoffs, that's big. Got the starting role, even though Curry was fit to play. Generally, that you wouldn't really see someone doing that. I'm not going to lie. Like if LeBron James is fit to play and he can only play 25 minutes, he's starting the game. Like
Yep.
Curry probably. I mean, it just shows you the unselfishness of Curry. Again. Which we have seen has been phenomenal, especially when he had KD on the team. But yeah, I think the Warriors are too good for them. The way they're making Jokic work off the ball. I don't know if you've seen the images of Jokic. Like,
they're getting in his head.
Tapping him on the bum and he's cracking it. And he's just like, there was like one image where he gets subbed off and he's on the bench and he's just like got his head back and he's like, he's literally like after a dog that's been on like a 5-kilometer walk and it's just like, it's like he's panting on the ground. It's just, yeah, they're making him work. And look, even though he is fit, I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. He does look a lot fitter than what he had been previously, but still, when you're a 7-foot guy and you're asked to do that much, they need the other playmakers there. They really do miss Jamal Murray. They really do miss, Michael Porter Jesus. So not if he would do much, but at least it's a more offense, than him having to try put up 35 plus and then, have also 10 assists and also, do everything else on the team. He averages 10 plus rebounds as well. So, it's a lot to ask of you, big fella.
People forgot about the war, like, because they went through they're all injured at one point, right? Steph Curry was injured, Draymond Green was injured, Klay Thompson was injured. Well, they're all healthy now, and they actually had some time to play. Like, I know Steph was injured, but they got some minutes for Klay, and they're actually gelling. And this is the same team that went back to back championship, Western Championship, or the NBA Finals, right? I don't know. This is a scary team. This team looks unstoppable right now.
Look, if they are back fit and if Steph is back fit and can play 30 plus minutes a game, I'll be honest with you, they can win it. Like, they can win it. They've got enough there to win the championship. And I did say that early parts of the season, but I just thought with Steph being injured, is he going to come? How well is he going to come back? But obviously they've managed that well. He has looked really, really good. So, yeah. Look, here's Domma in the comments. I've been replaced. Get out of here, Manny. But yeah, he's giving you a bit of love hearts. Yeah, look, Domma, you go drink your pina coladas, mate. You're on the beach, mate. Drink your pina coladas, and you've been replaced for today. The great man Manny, so he stepped in your absence. Jazz Mavericks. You got to say now, if Luka comes back in the next game, Mavs have to be favorites to win this series. And does the Dallas Mavericks front office look like geniuses, getting rid of Porzingis and putting more trust in Jalen Brunson, bringing in Dinwiddie off the bench? Do they look pretty smart now? I mean, a lot of people and Twitter and whatever you're seeing, just give him a lot of shit. And I said, well, no, my reaction was Porzingis isn't, a brilliant player. Like, he's good, but he was just, for a guy that's 7 foot, in my opinion, doesn't play like how 7 footers should. Doesn't get enough rebounds. I mean, they just showed now that they just need that guy to be hustle on the center position and, let the other guys handle the ball and hit shots, not for anything, and now they do have Dwight Powell who can step out and hit the three. So, helps them spread the floor with Maxi Kleber, who's a phenomenal 3-point shooter. What are your thoughts on the series? I mean, is this like going to be, if the Jazz get bounced here, they're blowing up the team?
They have to trade Donovan Mitchell. And I think they are going to lose. You could see, I'm a Mavs fan, but you could see Luka on the bench, like laughing. Like you could tell he's like, I'm going to eat these guys up when I come in and play. But yeah, they're going to blow up the team. Donovan Mitchell is going to be gone. I don't see them competing when Luka's back. I mean, they're getting beat by Brunson and crew. Brunson scoring, I mean, his career high, what was it, 42 or 41 last
41.
41. I was one of the fans that actually was upset with Porzingis just because I thought we could have got more for him by kind of like packaging a deal with like Tim Hardaway or something like that to get another big player for Luka, but it actually turned out really great. So I'm pretty pumped. That's why I'm not a GM.
Yeah, there you go. So, like, I think, it's not so bad. Sometimes you need to give it a bit of time to play out. But, yeah, in my opinion, the Mavs got to be favourite. I mean, Luka's coming back. They're winning it. Like, so, yeah. And I think, with that confidence of taking a game in Utah, even if he doesn't come back for game 3, I still think they go on the home court and with the confidence that they can get the job done. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen the issues with Rudy Gobert, what's going on there. I mean, some of and it's so obvious, he's got a 6'3" guy standing on a 7'2" guy underneath the basket, like just lob it up to the ring and just dunk it on his head. Like so many easy points to be had, and they just don't pass him the ball. Like him and like Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley, who both handling the ball a lot. It's bizarre. It's really, really bizarre.
Do you think they don't like him? I feel like they have like tension. Donovan Mitchell and Gobert, they don't seem to pass the ball like to each other. I mean, you don't see it, but I don't. They might have like drama going on.
Well, he did shut down the whole season and joked about it. So I think it's still like going on. Yeah, I think it's still going on from that, even though they said, I don't know. But I don't want to be one of those media people that just like try and make a story out of nothing. It just doesn't look, it just really looks bizarre. Like any normal, like if that's Luka Doncic, like he's hitting his 7-footer like that in the mismatch, like 9 times out of 10, unless he's like getting double team and he can't get out of the double team. Like, and like he's literally hitting that pass. LeBron is hitting that pass every time. Like, it's just the smart basketball play. And it just doesn't make sense to me why the Jazz aren't making the smart basketball plays. Like you're losing games. Like
look ahead too. If Mavs win, a lot of people have Mavs losing to the Jazz. They'll end up playing the Pelicans, and Mavs can handle the Pelicans. They can make a run, and Luka's cards are really down right now. So I know it's like
that's an interesting wing. That is interesting. So. Yeah, good shout by Manny. Definitely. Why not? Why not? If you're thinking the Mavs are going to go to the next round, Luka comes back, why not have a crack at some Luka cards, especially if they are down? I've got some fresh back from grading, so maybe I'll just hold on to those strategically and leave them to, if they do make a run, then get them up on eBay. All right, last game we will go over, and we'll just go through these ones. Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Series 1-1. They got into Karl-Anthony Towns' head in the last game, only shot 15 points, struggled, got him to foul trouble again. He's got to probably be better. Got bailed out a little bit by Anthony Edwards, but just goes to show how good Edwards is. What's your thoughts on this series?
They need to stop playing Steven Adams. He can't handle Karl-Anthony. They need to have Xavier Tillman in there. He's a defensive, kind of a defensive center. Like that, I went to Michigan State. They have like that center that's kind of undersized, but they're good at defense. Example is Draymond Green. They're very smart on defense, and Draymond Green and Xavier Tillman are kind of the same player. Not Draymond's is a lot better, but Xavier Tillman on defense has that intelligence that could guard him. And I think he's going to be the X factor of this series. So I think if they don't play Steven Adams, it actually would work out in their favor.
So did he get injured? we just got like 2 fouls early and then went out of the game. And then
Yep.
Tillman came in and he just played so well. So, I mean, 6 of 7 from the field goals, 13 points, 7 boards. So good
It was
stuff by Tillman,
defense
definitely
too.
off the bench. Yeah, like
Yeah.
awesome stuff. Jaron Jackson stepped up a bit better. Obviously, shot 4 of 7 from 3. Going to need his production. Just all well rounded. I mean, the bench production was just amazing. 13 points. 3 guys off the bench getting 10 or more points. 4 guys, sorry. So
Yeah.
that's phenomenal bench production. I think that's where, maybe for the Grizzlies, that's where the game can be won. Where the bench guys come in, they can make a bit of a run, and then when they bring in the first team, they have a bit of a lead. So, interesting. I think Anthony Towns has to be better. Nearly fouled out of the game here. 5 fouls. That's where the game probably lies there. Anthony Edwards, although he shot it 16 times, 20 points, was still top scored for them. Probably wasn't as hot as in the first game, but they do go back to the home floor. I think this series is going to 7 as well. I think this is one of the other ones that's going to go to 7. I think, I don't think it's going to be as easy as they think. They are going back to Timberwolves. They have won there previously, but I think Timberwolves have enough firepower, and Anthony Towns has to play a bit better. If he's playing like this, it's definitely going to be, a 4-1 or maybe 4-2, to Grizzlies. Anthony Towns, we need to get that 25 plus points. He needs to. He was for me was not getting some of the calls that maybe you'd get during the regular season, but it is the playoffs. It's renowned for happening. The refs do put away the whistle, so you got to play through that sort of contact. And we have seen Chicago's won by 4 points. This blows open this series. It's 1-1. We do have the Bucks have now lost home court. Bulls go back to their home court. I mean, throws it open. DeRozan 41 points. You got to think that they got to shut him down and force him to be, a bit more of a passer.
And I think Chris Middleton left the game with injury in the fourth quarter. So if that turns out to be a serious injury, I haven't looked at it. That could change the series for the Bucks.
Yeah, change the series. Yeah, most definitely. Mate, it's blown it. We are going to have to see maybe some of those 50-piece nuggets, Chick-fil-A nuggets from Giannis to get the Bucks over the line. But yeah, watch that space. If Middleton is injured and he's out for a few games, Bulls stay healthy. I don't know why can't they? They just beat them on their home floor. DeRozan went for 40. Amazing game.
This is the team that was number 1 in the midway through the season too.
Yeah.
Until they start playing the good teams, right? But they're capable. Patrick Williams is back, so he could do some damage. I think he got into double figures today.
Yeah, 10 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, a steal, a block. So provides great defense. I think he may quite a bit on Middleton. So, he has shown that he's got that defensive stopper in him. That's I'm not going to lie. That's why I've been buying his cards, because I think he's phenomenally cheap at the moment. I am very, very upset. I just missed a Panini 1-on-1 number to 99. Only sold for $66 on card auto.
I saw that. I was like, that is a steal.
Yep. So I was like, man, wish I bid it on that. That's definitely, in my opinion, that's at least a minimum $100 card minimum at this point in time as he grows into his career. Who knows what it can become. But yeah, that series is wide open. All right. Without further ado, we're going to leave off NBA. We've given our opinions. Look, I still think Bucks have enough to win that series. I'm just going to put that on the record. But, Middleton being out, can Giannis do it himself? Does he have enough there with just him and Holiday? I don't know. I don't think so. But we'll see. Look, I'm not going to doubt Giannis because the guy's phenomenal. Yeah. So, and he did have a very good game today. 18 boards. Nearly went for a triple double.
No big deal.
All right. Without further ado, let's step on to something that you know absolutely nothing about, Manny, which is AFL. I'll run through it quickly. a quick overview of the round. We have Brisbane defeated Collingwood. That was a very close game. Pies fought back well. Not looking good for the Dons this weekend, as this upcoming Monday, where Collingwood versus Essendon could be an absolute slapping for Essendon. North Melbourne lose to Bulldogs. That was a horrendous game. Funny game this, Manny. I actually had a bet on for Bulldogs to score 3 goals each quarter. They ended up kicking something ridiculous, like 20 goals for the game. And they kicked 10 goals in the first quarter. And in the second quarter, they only kicked 2 goals. And then they kicked like 5 goals and then like 5 goals. Or like something 8 goals in the first quarter and then they kicked 5. So they missed it by 1 goal. And I was not very happy about it, even though that they did win. I was not happy. But Bulldogs, too strong. West Coast lost to Sydney. That was a very, very bad loss. Sydney showing that they are potentially a top 8 team this year. West Coast, bit of inconsistency, should have won that in their home ground. And it was not a pretty loss. Like, I mean, they lost by 60 points here. So, yeah, not good. St Kilda defeated Gold Coast. St Kilda, only defeating the teams that are in front of them, have quite a few games at Marvel Stadium. It will be interesting to see when they have to play some away games, how they go. Adelaide, very, very big win over Richmond. Adelaide, really, really young side. Finished, I think, bottom of the ladder last year, Manny, or second last, and they've already won. They've already won pretty much one quarter or 1/3 of the games that they won last year, and it's 5 rounds in. So I think they only won 6 games or whatever last year, and I think they've already won 2 games or 3 games. So pretty good by them, and that's a big win over Richmond, who not an average side, have won 3 premierships in the last 5 years, or 3 titles. So interesting there. I don't think Adelaide's going to still do anything this season, but good for their young group of kids to get a win. Melbourne obviously is too strong. Your team, Manny, you have chosen Melbourne, the best team, to defeated GWS. They slapped them. Called that on the show last week. Melbourne are just in top form. Carlton defeated Port Adelaide only by 4 points. Look, credit that Carlton's getting the wins, but they have to definitely be better. That when they have a lead, they had a lead of at least 6 goals, which is 30 points, Manny. They just gave up the lead, and let the other team go on a run. They've got to be better at closing out games, and not, force their fans to have heart attacks in the stands. Yeah. So yeah, and Manny, I'll just give a shout out once again. If there's this channel called Blue Abroad. It's one of a fan channel about the Carlton Football Club. It's one of the best fan channels, and they do a fan cam after the game where people call in on their phone, FaceTime in, and get their fan reactions. Oh, I tell you what, it's some of the best entertainment after a Carlton game. I just get on there sometimes just to watch the fan cams. They're hilarious, and when they lose, they're even better, mate. They just go off. It's hilarious. All right, my boys. I'll have to send you some funny ones one time and I'll show you. Essendon, it's a bit like Arsenal TV. It's bloody hilarious. Essendon, Fremantle. Look, I'm not going to comment on it. I went to this game, Manny, and I left halfway through the fourth quarter because I was absolutely disgusted in what I've seen from my team. The lack of effort was pathetic. Not running back, not chasing, not putting enough pressure on the opposition, and they looked a bit like witches' hats, which is not good.
I saw highlights of this game. So I actually did some research. I saw highlights of this game because it's your team, and I watched Dom's team. I saw okay, you're gonna make fun of me, but there's just a circle before the goal. The defense, you guys had it, and he just fumbles the ball to the offensive player, and he just kicks a goal like a goal. It was the funniest thing in the world. I'm like, you must have hated watching that.
Yeah. Just some of the mistakes and fumbling, and it was pretty average, mate. Like these, when you're supposed to be the highest paid at your profession, it's hilarious. It's really hard to watch. Hawthorne defeated Geelong on the Easter Monday game. Always a cracking game. Domma and I did pick Geelong, but we did say that, I did say these games are renowned. Doesn't matter where the teams are on the ladder. for just being so for some reason when they come up against each other, they always play really hard games and hard fought games. And it doesn't matter if one team might be, have won 3 games in a row and the other team's lost 3 games in a row. They still, it's always close, for some reason when they come up against each other. And I mean, I called it that don't be afraid if Hawthorne do, don't be surprised, sorry, if Hawthorne do get the win. And they did. 12 points, played phenomenal. A big difference between Essendon and Hawthorne. Both teams fielded the two youngest sides on the weekend in the competition. So obviously guys missing through injury, more experienced players. So they had to field some of their, youth in the ranks. And I mean, big difference. Hawthorne wanted to win. They chased hard, they tackled hard, they put on a lot of pressure, and look what happened. They end up winning, beating Geelong, who are most likely going to be a top 4 team on the ladder this year. So it's a big win for that football club. All right, this week if you want to have a look at the ladder, feel free to have a look here. You can also jump on footywire.com and check out the ladder. Demons are on top. Dockers are in second, which is very surprising. But, credit is due. Lions third, Saints fourth. There's a few names in there who's you may not have thought at the start of the season. Swans fifth, Blues sixth, Cats seventh, Hawks eighth. That rounds out the top 8. The Power is still the only under team to win a game, which is many, Manny, I'll just tell you this. At the start of the season, I did my top 8 and I didn't have Power in there. And Power finished in the top 4 last year. And someone in the comments goes, "Oh, you don't have Power in there." I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll take out this team and I'll put them in there. But they're not going to do as good as last year, but they might just make the 8. I mean, they're 0-5. So the chances of them making the 8 now, I mean, it's going to take a massive turnaround.
Yeah.
Massive turnaround.
What's up with, I do have a question. What's up with AFL players? Every time I've watched a couple weeks, like some highlights, because you guys are trying to get me into it. I got made fun of by Domma because I called it rugby. So I got in, start watching highlights. What's up with you guys wearing mullets? Why is it a thing out there?
I don't know. Because it's like a lot of players come from like country towns and regional towns, and I don't know, especially guys that are from regional and country towns, they love a mullet. I don't know. I don't have, and it's sort of like something because like back in the 80s and back in the 90s, a lot of players used to have a mullet. So you see like older photos of older guys now, who might be legends of the game that had a mullet. So like, they have a mullet, like, I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't really know.
It's funny. And then I laugh because Domma's, like I was telling you before, I feel bad for Domma. We'll get into the Premier League, but Man U, no defense, and his AFL team, no defense. I watch highlights and it was so bad. They just kicked it up and the other team would just jump higher and get the ball easily. Like it looked like a JV versus varsity team.
Yeah, look, North Melbourne are pretty pathetic, and look, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be an interesting, probably close game when Domma and my team play later in the year. It'll be interesting to see
bunch of Harry Maguires on their team.
Yeah. There is. All right, this week we'll go through this week's game, GWS versus St Kilda. I think this could be a tough game for St Kilda. I'm not really sure who's going to win. I'm going to tip. I'm going to go with the Saints just because they're in better form than GWS. But GWS do need to bounce back. Western Bulldogs, Adelaide. I think Bulldogs win. Port Adelaide, West Coast. I think this could be the first game that Port Adelaide does get a win. West Coast have shown inconsistencies, but they do need to bounce back after last week. They did have a lot of players in. They just didn't play as good. So I'm going to pick Port Adelaide. They do have to get on the board. Fremantle versus Carlton. I don't really know what to say because I think Carlton is the better team, but Fremantle just play really good when they have to play at home on their home stadium. Carlton does have to jump on a 4-hour plane ride to get there and travel, so a bit of an inconvenience. So maybe Fremantle did watch them play. They did play 4 quarters of football, even though my side's not the best, but they just showed that they ran out the game and put effort in for 4 quarters, which, is a lot of the time what you need to do to get the wins. You can't have a relaxed quarter or a lackadaisical quarter because that's when you get found out. North Melbourne against Geelong. I think this could get really, really ugly. Although North Melbourne do play very, very good down in Tasmania. Like, they have a very, very good record. They play a few games where they play in Tasmania, the little island below Australia underneath. So, they do have a good record there, but Geelong just is the better side. I'm going to say 40-point win to Geelong. Gold Coast against Brisbane. Brisbane should be too good for Gold Coast and get the win. Melbourne, Richmond. Melbourne definitely. Richmond's got quite a few injuries. Melbourne's flying at the moment. Hawthorne versus Sydney. This is going to be a great game. Probably the game of the round, in my opinion, because both these teams are playing really good football. I'm going to go. I just like Sydney's team a bit better. I'm going to go with the Swans, especially the performance that they put in last week. And then Essendon versus Collingwood, even though it is my team and I will be going to this game. This is the Anzac Day blockbuster, Manny, where they get over 90,000 people to the game. And it's called the Anzac Day because the Anzacs, we remember the fallen soldiers that fought in the wars. We pay our respects before the game. There is a big march. There is a big march in the morning. But no, I think Collingwood will give us an absolute pounding. I do hope it's a close game. And, if it is a close game, maybe within a chance. But I think Collingwood is the better side and they will probably beat us. We have got a few injuries. So, yeah, look, not looking good. All right, Manny. I'm not going to bore you with the AFL any longer.
Hey.
We'll have to get you on the live stream once and get you watching the game so you can explain it to. All right, we're going to jump.
A couple weeks, I'm going to be a big fan.
Where?
I said in a couple weeks, I'm going to be the biggest fan. Watch. I'll know stuff like you guys.
All right. You have to watch. Type in AFL big hits on YouTube.
Okay.
and see some of that stuff. Some the AFL big hits is like some of the biggest hits in the game, and a lot of that stuff has been rubbed out of the game because it was just too rough. But and you do get, like, if you do that, some of this stuff, you do get like a lengthy time on the sidelines. But it's still entertaining as hell to watch the clip. All right, we'll bring up the UFC card over the weekend. We'll run through the main card. You had in the welterweight division, Muna Lazez defeated Ange Lusa in a third round decision. Featherweight division, Pat Sabatini defeated TJ Lamy with a third round decision in the featherweight. Women bantamweight, Maria Bueno Silva defeated Yana Wu, third round decision. Welterweight, you had Miguel Baeza defeated by Andrea Fiallo with a KO in the first round. Middleweight division, co-main event, Kiao Borrallo defeated. I'm not even going to have a crack at that, but I think he just gave him his first. I'm just going to call him Mr. Omar. 13-1, gave him his first official defeat in UFC. So big win by Cal Borrallo. And then Bilal Muhammad defeated Vicente Luque. I mean, I did say Bilal Muhammad was up and coming. I think he's won now 6 or 7 fights in a row. He's looking like one of the better guys in the welterweight division, one of the guys who is coming up the ranks. Not saying he can defeat, who's on top. I think in the welterweight, I think it might be Usman. Is it? Yes, Usman. I'm not saying he can beat Usman, but he's an up-and-comer. We do need to look forward to some guys that maybe can knock the champ off. Not that I think anyone is good enough still in that division, but Bilal Muhammad is definitely one of those guys. I would really like to see a fight against like Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad in the next fight. That's 4-5. Burns is coming off 2 losses, but 2 very good fights. Nonetheless, where he put a good show of himself. So I'd like to see that matchup in future events. Did you catch any of the UFC, Manny?
Not last weekend, but this weekend. Are you excited about the card for this weekend? Jessica Andrade?
Yeah, so the card for this weekend, I'll bring it up here. It's kicks off here in Australia Sunday 11 a.m. For you, it would probably be like Saturday evening. Women strawweight main event, Amanda Lemos against Jessica Andrade. I think they may have. I'm not sure if they fought once before. I can't remember, but
Does this set up like a future fight for Jessica for the belt? Because it just seems like she's gonna beat Amanda. Because like even with Rose or Juliana, Pena, I'm not sure. I don't know if she would be a good fight against Juliana or not, but it
Yeah,
seems
so
like
this is in the straw weight. So I think this is in the straw weight division, right? That's what
but
it's telling me here. They're fighting at. So Rose Namajunas is on top of the straw weight.
I
Yeah,
think one of them's not in. I think one of them is in Juliana's.
okay. Yeah, there's a few here. So Jessica Andrade is also in the women's
Oh, you're
flyweight.
right.
She's
Yep.
the number one contender behind Shevchenko. So it'll be interesting to see what this leads to. She's also that's on the pound for pound. So
Yeah,
women's
she's. It seems like she's like in the middle of like fighting. That she could fight Juliana Rose or uh Valentina.
Okay, all right. So I think if she does get the win, could set her up nicely.
Yeah.
Lemos is in the top 10 in the straw weight. So yeah, I think it could set her up nicely, maybe with a title shot potentially. Because Zhang Weili has been defeated
Yep.
already. I think there has to be like Pena will have to have one more fight against someone else, maybe the second contender, and then probably rematch Nunes. Definitely, I think Nunes deserves the rematch on that. So before it goes any further, but nonetheless, you got the co-main event: Clay Guida against Claudio Puelles, and then down from there. Feel free to check out the card. Just type in UFC card on Google, and brings it right up. Definitely. Obviously, look forward to this fight. Alexander Romanov against Chase Sherman. Heavyweights, always entertaining. So that's probably the fight for me to watch. And Alexander Romanov is 15-0 as an MMA fighter. So
he's plus 375 in the books too, betting books. Chase is minus 510. I thought that was
can't be
strange.
right.
It's on UFC. Look at UFC.com and go on, look at the card, the odds. It's crazy.
Okay,
unless it's a typo on UFC.
What was his name again?
Alexander Romanov and Chase Sherman.
Okay. I'm trying to look online Bet365. I can't find the market.
Yeah. Go to UFC.com and look at it's like the main page. It'll show the card and it shows like the odds.
Okay. Yep.
You see that?
Show the odds. Yep.
Yeah. I was so confused when I saw that because Alexander's 15-0. Chase isn't even what is he, 17th in his division? And Alexander,
Okay.
I don't understand why he's plus money.
He's very good on his grappling. So I mean, good shout by Manny. Definitely something to look at, ladies and gents. One in the odds. I mean, the guy's 15-0 in MMA. I do know you have to lose at some point, but does he lose to the guy who's outside the top 10 in his division?
Chase came off. I think he's off a loss too. He lost his last match. If you click down on there, it shows he's lost his last match. Right there. Yeah. Does it say on top?
Upcoming fights, event results.
Yeah. I saw that he lost his last fight. So he's coming off a loss versus someone that's 15-0. And he's not in the top 10. I don't know. It's just set up.
He's coming off a few losses, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually like to look at it on here. Just you get a better look. I'll just bang. Yeah, he lost his last fight. He's lost his last 3 fights. How is he the favorite? Surely that can't be right. I was trying to find a market here on Bet365, but I can't find one. I don't know if they've put up the market. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just more savvy. But
Well, there's your
keep a
play.
lookout.
Money.
Yeah, keep a lookout, ladies and gents, man. Like if you can find a market and he is an outsider, I think that could be a good shout by Manny. Definitely a good shout. I like that. Value play. That's what we like
Yep.
to give value. All right, Manny. Without further ado, I'm gonna step in. We're gonna have a look here. Um, this weekend we got the Italian Grand Prix in Rome. Race
new
kicks
favorite
off
sport.
in my time is 11 o'clock at night. I'm not sure what time it is for you, Manny. It would probably be a bit more pleasant, maybe in the morning.
Yep.
So we have this weekend. We'll go through the driver standings, where they sit at the moment. Charles Leclerc's out on top, 71. George Russell, 37. Carlos Sainz, 33. Sergio Perez, 30. Lewis Hamilton, 28. Max Verstappen, 25. Let's hope they've fixed that gearbox issue. Esteban Ocon, 20. Lando Norris on 16. Kevin Magnussen on 12. And Valtteri Bottas on 12 as well to round out the top 10. Danny Ricks on 8 at 11th for all the Australians out there. Roman Grand Prix.
I'm excited.
It should be good.
This has turned out to be my favorite sport, by the way. I love it.
Yeah, he's right into it now, Manny. And I didn't really, I've been to the F1 before and I never really followed it like, every week and every race and sort of thing. Domma got me into it. So, haven't missed a race for 2 years now. Watching. So here we go. It's a 63 lap race. The circuit is 4.9 kilometers around. Lap record is held by the one Lewis Hamilton and 1 minute and 15 seconds and 0.48 milliseconds. Looks like there is only one DRS zone. Zone 1. Maybe there's a second. Possibly. Dom is usually more on the money with this stuff. But nonetheless, there's the track. It's a 63 lap race. I think, you've got to say that Ferrari is favourites to win this race again. I don't think you could say anything other than that. I do think that Mercedes is getting more pace. Is getting a lot more pace now, and they will be up there again. Red Bull has had the pace. They've just had the issues with the gearbox. So we do have to, take that into account. But Manny, it's a bit hard to tell before you see the qualifying and which teams have the pace. But who would you think is probably going to finish? Someone who's going to maybe push up in the ranks, maybe finish higher than you think, and who's going to win the race.
Yeah. So the last 2 years, it's not usually the team that's in first place that has won. Last year, isn't this where McLaren took 1 and 2 and Daniel won? And then the year before, I think Pierre Gasly won the race. And I think this is when Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton got into their accident, right? So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if like Lando actually makes podium, or Daniel. They look like they had some pace last race, right? They figured out something. They got points. And then you have Mercedes. I think they're gonna every week you're gonna see them getting closer and closer. Yeah, George Russell made 3rd place, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a 2nd place. One of them is in 2nd place, Lewis Hamilton or George Russell. But like you said, I don't see a team right now beating Charles. Ferrari's just on a different level than everyone. Unless Red Bull got their gearbox fixed, I don't see anyone competing with Ferrari.
I have to agree. But as you said, it is anything can happen on the day.
This is Daniel's race. I think Daniel's going to surprise some people.
They showed a bit of that they had a bit of pace here in Australia, so maybe they can build on that. And maybe we could see another week. I don't know. But yeah, look, I'm not really, I'm not confident. I'm not confident.
Yeah.
I'm still confident in that Ferrari's just going to be, for, too good for
Yeah.
everyone. And it does come down to the qualifying. If you can get a guy, if you can, Leclerc or falters a bit on qualifying, maybe starts in third place and has to work a bit harder to get around those guys. Then yeah, okay, I can see it. But I still think Leclerc's the
Yeah.
guy to beat in this
I'm
race.
I'm hoping that you think Carlos Sainz is going to be situated, because he had problems with his car from qualifying, and you could see what happened during the race. He was the first one out.
It's a typical thing within F1. They you never know. They could be doing different things to Sainz's car than Leclerc's car to try get improvements to them improve Leclerc's car. Like, they don't really care too much about Sainz because they can see that, oh wow, he's he started so well, probably our best start we've had in 7 years
Yep.
as Ferrari. We want to try lock up the championship. So I mean, they do want obviously still do well with Sainz. They don't want him to not finish races and things
Yeah.
because they want to try still potentially get the team drivers, the team one, which Ferrari is well up on top on 104, and Mercedes is second on 65. But I think it's going to be a Ferrari Mercedes battle out, unless Red Bull has shown they got pace and they've got the car to potentially do something. But that gearbox issue, if they don't get that fixed, as I said, they don't get that fixed. We'll say it again, and it continues to force them to have DNFs. He's got no chance. They've
Yeah.
got no chance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So global. Yeah, I did say one DRS zone. I think I'm not sure if they're two, but it on the here it did say DRS zone 1. So
I don't know if I like that. Do
I'm
you?
guessing there's only one DRS zone. I think it just makes it a bit more. It looks like there's some tight corners here. There's probably some good overtaking corners if you can get within the slipstream. You got to remember DRS is pretty new to the sport.
Yeah.
It's not something they had before. They still use slipstreams and that sort of stuff. And the DRS just helps with that. It's like an energy boost. It's like going over the little arrow in Mario Kart, and then
Yep.
it gives you a boost. That's how I explain it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that was in the sport, so it just makes it. I mean, this is where tracks like this, where there's only one DRS zone, it brings the guys who are the best drivers to the top, because you got to make those passes around the corners, cutting corners in and out, moves. There's a lot more
Yeah.
skill to the driving than just being able to overtake. Because with the DRS in the straights, if you're about to overtake, they got to let you overtake. They can't obviously try block you off because it's dangerous driving. You can get penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty easy for anyone to just open the DRS and my car's better than yours. I'm see you later. I'm straight by you. So yeah, look, it will be interesting. It will be interesting. Global Mercedes will be better. Yeah, I think they will be better as well, mate. I think they could be pushing for this race potentially. They did show very, very good pace here in Australia. All right, Manny, we're getting close to an hour. I think I've gone through all the sports. I'm just going to double check. Yes, I have. There's one more sport which we will talk about now. Nearly forgot it, and that's Premier League. We will just run through the latest results that we've seen today.
We don't have
We got my boys
to.
4-2 over Chelsea. I can't believe it when I woke up this morning. Game was on at a terrible hour for me. It was like 4:40 in the morning. I was like, I'm not getting up.
I was
You
waiting
go for Chelsea, right?
Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. I was waiting for you
You're
to
a Chelsea fan. Let's look a bit deeper into the game.
No.
Eddie Nketiah on the score sheet. I gave him an absolute bath last episode, and he's proven me wrong this episode. I think he's gone for a hat trick. No, he went for 2 goals. Emil Smith Rowe, you got the equaliser with Timo, 17th minute. What a first half game. I'm going to have to watch the replay of this. Emil Smith Rowe, 27th minute, bangs one in. 37nd minute, as Cesar Azpilicueta bangs a goal in, and then it's 2-2, and then Eddie Nketiah, 3-2, 57th minute, and then at the 92nd minute, Bayako Saka with a penalty. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just say that Bayaka Saka tucks away the penalty. We all know what happened in the Euros. Missed the pen. Obviously, coming up to the World Cup, getting a bit of confidence. Get those pens in, son, because you're going to have to step up again. We'll have a look at the table here. What does that do to the table, Manny? What does that do to the table? Arsenal, 57 points, equal with Tottenham. Chelsea, 62 points. I still don't think you're going to not finish top four. I think you probably most likely got that in the bag, but that's helped us a lot. Getting that win today, and yeah,
No,
I
it's
mean,
big.
I woke up and I was happy. I was happy.
Not me.
Not gonna lie.
I was mad. I might have
I'm
threw
not
a
gonna.
remote.
Yeah, that's all right. I think you just got to finish out the rest of the season. We had a look at your fixture last week. Not the hardest fixture out of all the teams, but nonetheless, you still need to get a few more wins on the board. Upcoming matches that are going to be prominent is going to be this weekend, Saturday night here in Australia. Maybe Domma and I could be doing a live stream for this one. 9:30, so it's a very, very nice time. 9:30 at night, Saturday night, Arsenal vs Manchester United. This is probably going to be one of the biggest games of the season for the top four race. We do have them notable games. Manchester City against Watford. They should get the win there. And then your boys, Chelsea against West Ham. That is not an easy game.
Nope.
Very tough game. West Ham have been in good form. Liverpool's against Everton, where they will absolutely slap them. And that's on next Monday. So
and then we play Manchester United, which isn't an easy win as well.
Yep.
How our defense looks, Ronaldo might eat.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he's obviously in the right mental state to come back and make an impact. Probably will help him a little bit to get his mind off things. But nonetheless, it's been a phenomenal week of sports, and into next week we will have a bit more resolve around NBA playoffs, who's into the next round, and so on. So Domma will be back, and we'll comment on that. All right, we'll have a quick hobby talk, and we're going to round this up not too long away because I don't want to keep Manny for too long. It's a bit shorter episode today, but we are going to jump into hobby talk, and hobby talk is brought to you by Platinum Standard Grading. Thank you to the lads down at Platinum Standard Grading. PSG, also known as Manny, it's Australian grading company. We need some more options here down under because it's pretty expensive to spend at least 50 Australian dollars minimum to grade one card when you got to send it over the States. By the time you put it, all of the insurance costs and postage costs and all that, some stuff that you just want for your PC, you just want to be able to slab it up for $20.
Oh yeah, the PSG slab is amazing. It looks so nice.
It looks good. Feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Definitely. So, when I get some back from grading, I'll do a bit of a review for the channel and sort of show people a bit more. I've just sent my first batch off, so look forward to getting them back. And feel free to try them out and head to the link in the description because we do offer a bulk sub for people here in Australia if you want to send your cards to PSG grading. All right. Without further ado, Manny, we are going to go through our hobby topics, which is just a couple. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but it was something that one of our followers put onto us, which was ComC pretty much saying they've double sold an item, but in essence, it seems a bit shady. Someone bought a card off eBay and was really cheaply priced. And then they've got a message saying we can't sell you the card because it's been double sold. And then there it is, like 20 minutes later, up on ComC at like a higher price, essentially, right? And and it just doesn't look good. Like, and I understand like the whole essence of ComC is you can buy the card and they have their whole storage facility. So it's a bit like, you know, in essence, a bit like a Star Stock where the item goes into your account because you've bought it there and it's at ComC. But when you list, like you would think that when you cross-referencing those listings with eBay, surely the API or plugin that you're using to have that is working simultaneously. Like there should be no issues between, because this just looks like, and the card, don't get me wrong, the card that he was buying was actually a steal. It was like a $5. There was no way it was a $5 card. So he knew he was getting a steal. Maybe someone listed it wrong. Was supposed to be $50. Who knows? And the zero, sorry. But it just looks bizarre. You would think that with all, you know, so much how tech savvy the whole entire world is now, that something like as simple as this shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, no, of course. I think Burbank, if I watched a video, I think they're tied in with Beckett, so they do cross with Beckett, and it's simultaneous. Like if it's bought, it's off. So it's kind of weird how you could double sell something, and then it's up. It seems like someone bought it and hurried up and tried to flip it on ComC, or they noticed, like you said, that it should have been a $50 card, but then you have to. If you put it up for $5, you have to sell it at that $5 mark, right? You can't go back on your word like that. So,
well, especially when you've got a buy now button, you know what I mean? It's a bit different. It's a bit different dealing with the guy on Facebook over a messenger. And I mean, you get people pulling out all the time, and you're like, well, you know, it's not like I've, you know, actually done anything physical. I haven't actually pressed buy it now and, you know, paid for it, and then they've canceled my order, you know? So, look, you just hope these companies you're making so much money. You know, ComC has gotten so big now. They've employed so many more people, which means they've got so much more revenue and everything. Like, you'd think something like that shouldn't be that difficult to have correct. That's, you know, I'm not saying, I'm not going to sit here and assume that it is dubious activity, but it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good.
No, not at all.
All right. The other one that I want to bring up, and this was because you, the lads at, you know, Luca Nation had him on the show. That was, you know, what's his name? He's
Rick Probstein.
Rick. That's right. I was going to call him Rob. Rick Probstein. We call him Shillstein because he's renowned listings on eBay are renowned for getting absolutely shilled to the hills. Now, and we're not turning around saying it's him, and then he did defend himself when he came on your show, and it's like, it's clear, you know, clearly it's not us. You know, it can be a number of factors, and he did mention that, you know, there is things in place, and you know, he's had talks with people at eBay because he wants to keep using their platform because he likes the ease of use and whatnot. That, you know, when we need measures to try stamp these people out. And you know, he did mention some of them. So it is good to hear from the man himself. Look, I'm not going to go. You can. This is a bit of do your own research. Feel free to Google Rick Probstein. Have a look. There are some articles out there. I'm not going to lead you. You know, I'm going to lead you to the water, and you got to understand how to drink. Go search. There are some things out there. There is some reading to be done on the man. So, you know, he isn't all an innocent character. So I can see why people jump to conclusions when this sort of stuff happens. But you'd hope that, you know, he is cleaning up his act. And, you know, he did say the right things on your show. You can't say that he didn't. No one wants to see shill bidding. And, you know, there is, you know, people that I follow that, you know, want to get PC cards, and they continually just show the shilling on some of, and it's not always Probstein stuff. I'm not going to say it's always, you know, it's just shilling anyway on eBay. It just happens to be that when there's a big card, and it's, you know, maybe a bit more of a rarer card, and it doesn't come up as often, as often, and it is on Probstein, it does get shilled. It just does.
It's like all the bigger auction house, because remember PWCC when they were on eBay, they were so it was them too. I'm glad Cage asked them those questions and didn't hold back. It seemed like he was prepared, but it kind of scares me if you think about it, because he was saying, he brought up some good points. He said, there's people that own the cards that are going to put it to 70 or 80% of the card value just to kind of have like a floor set for that card. Because he said, in what auction, like for example, why would you put your card, or why is it at 80% comps like 2 hours after it was posted? Why not wait until the end of the auction, right? And it makes sense. Like people are shilling it to that 80% right away to get like a baseline, is what he was saying.
So they can go sell their one on Facebook or Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, well, like let's say for example you have a PSA Luca base, right? And it's $500 right now, USD. You don't want that to go even lower, right? So you're going to bid up to like 350 or something like that. So you have like a baseline of like, yeah, if it sells for 350, I'm okay with that, but I don't want it to sell for like $100. It seems like that's what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what he kind of said. It seemed like right away that auction, once it's like 2 or 3 hours, it's going up to that 350 mark. Why is it doing that? Like, if you really want the card, why would you put it at that 350 when you could get it at 350 if you don't bid it up?
Yeah.
So that made sense. And what scares me the most is he kind of brought up that kind of scenario in auction houses, because he sees it through auction houses. And he didn't name auction houses, but it is right. There's stuff that I cover auction houses that once it goes up a couple hours, it's already like at $1 million, or there's a Tom Brady that was at $900,000 and there's like 5 days left of the auction left. Why do people do that? I mean, he gave a good reasoning. It's because of the people that own that Tom Brady card, the equivalent, are bringing it up to that baseline so they could get their card, like their card's not going down.
Yeah, it makes sense. It definitely does make sense.
But do we trust the market then? That's what
Yeah,
is our assets correct?
Yeah, well, that's right. It's just like the, there's been out there, companies, fractional companies and other companies who have now tried to come into the marketplace space, buying cards at ridiculous values on eBay, and then going and listing that same card on their own platform and it underselling from what it sold on eBay. So automatically they're taking a loss. Someone else, gets the ownership of the card. What sort of I don't really know. I don't really have the answers for you, but just thinking out loud, what sort of precedent does that set for like some of the prices that we do see? Are there really that many collectors that at that price want to pay that money? Or is it really a few collectors trying to protect the price of that asset at that price? I don't know. And yeah, look, I'm not going to lie, man. I've enjoyed the price drop in like, especially Kobe Bryant cards and some of the price drops in stuff that I want to collect. In LeBron rookies, you can get really good entry point on lower end LeBron rookies that were, over the 1,000 consistently not that long ago as well. So, I'm not unhappy about that. I am still unhappy about the price of wax and the value of product that you're pulling out of wax, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't listened to the interview, go head to Luca Nation Network on YouTube. You can also check out their podcast, and obviously just it's not that long ago. It's in the last week, so find the one where it's Probstein. Rick Probstein, and then give it a listen, and you can hear the full interview and everything Rick says. But just wanted to bring it up that he did address it, and it was good that Cage did ask him those questions. When you get someone on the show like that, where there's a lot of people in the hobby, we interact with true collectors. Not that these companies don't, but sometimes the money turnover and everything that they're probably having a very successful business, they may forget about the people that that are really true to the hobby, and that's the collectors that want to know what's going on when they try to buy their PC card, and it's getting pumped up to it's getting pumped up in the first 3 hours it's listed in auction, and it's on a 7-day auction.
I do have a question for you and your audience, because we're all trying to figure it out. What is shilling? And is it shilling if you bid a card up but expect to pay? Say you bid the card up because you have a card, that same exact card, but you're going to end up paying it. Is that considered shilling? I'm trying to grasp like what shilling is. My head is if you bid it up but don't pay is shilling, right? But can you say the same to say I don't want my card, like say I have like 10, let's go back to that Luca base. And I'm like, all right, I'll buy another one, but I'm gonna make sure it's this like at this certain price, but I'll pay for it. Is that considered shilling in your mind and your audience? This is
No,
kind of
no,
like an
because
like
I've literally done the same thing with the LeBron rookie card at
yeah,
BGS 95, where the card was, I bought one at about 270, and then I went up as high as 1200. I never sold. I was like, I don't want to sell it. And then the card started to come back down ridiculously, and then I started seeing them back for under 300, and I was like, well, if these get back under 300, like I'm going to start bidding on a few, and I won one
mhm,
at 250. I paid for the card, right?
yep,
But I was just like, well, I just think, at this price, like this is where I was comfortable buying them before. And yeah, they did run up, and I probably should have sold and taken some of the profit if I knew that they were going to come down like this, even though I think it's probably underpriced. And I did give this play on the show not that long ago. Um,
yeah,
so look, I don't think so. I think it's just, as a collector, if it's a card that you like and you think that it's an undervalued card
yeah.
and you wouldn't be unhappy having a few of those in your PC, well, why not buy another one?
Because it gets to me because there's like bigger, bankrolls in the hobby. And I just went base, but there's cards that are out of 10, right? Say a Kobe Bryant rookie out of 10.
Yeah.
And you have like someone that has a bigger bankroll than me and it came up on an auction. And you see that there's no like it's not getting to the price you want. Can they could easily bid it to where they want to set that market, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where I was getting at with the shilling. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I can see why they do that. I can see, but if you know this is where it just comes in where you need to have the protection of these platforms that allow that forces these people to pay. I guess that's why sort of like when people sell the bigger end cards, they do go to like a PWCC Premier Auction and a Golden or Heritage or whatever other auction house because they vet their buyers that they do have this money to back up this their bids.
Yep.
I do know on Golden you're only allowed to get an X amount of bidding power. So like you've only got 100 grand of bidding power, or
Mhm.
we've vetted you, you've got $250,000 of bidding power. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
once you cap out your bidding power, so you might bid on like 5 high price items with 100K, and they're all $20,000 cards. Well, you've back max as soon as you bid 5 times 20, you max out your whole 100,000.
Yep.
So that's sort of how it works. And I mean, we have heard stories where buyers haven't paid on Golden before, but it's very, 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 very minuscule
Yep.
compared to what happens on eBay and mainly eBay. Let's be
eBay.
honest.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm not familiar with MySlab, so I can't really comment on their processes and everything. But all reports are they
Yeah.
are probably definitely the up and coming marketplace that I think a lot more people are going to start taking notice of and start using them. I do know you had them on the show as well, so there was an interesting interview as well. So if you haven't heard that about MySlabs, make sure you check that one out too.
And then only alt, for example, I did want to bring this up. Only alt, they're like in kind of if you think about it as stocks, you have to have them. I interviewed one of their employees. You have to have money in the account, your account, to even bid. So they're trying to make it so they're making sure that you pay. And their auctions are like the only auctions that aren't bid up right away. There's been like 2 days left and some cards at 99 cents. And I'll come back and they sell for like over $1,000. So I don't know what they're doing. I know they're kind of limiting themselves because you have to have that like your money in the account. And who's going to want to put $15,000 in the only alt just to bid. You know what I mean?
I think that could be done a lot better, because I do know that, like, you can, with credit cards and that, say you get like a $50,000 credit card, for instance, right? They can, you can say, oh, look, I want to bid on this next auction or series of auctions, and you can say, I want to have $20,000 of bidding power, right? And why can't they, if you connect your credit card, why can't they lock up $20,000 in escrow on your credit card, right? And then whatever you buy, right? Say it's only $11,000 worth of stuff. They take $11,000 from your credit card and they, give you back the $19,000, right? So I don't know why they can't do stuff like that, because I know companies can hold money within your credit card. I know they can.
They should do that for sure, because you're kind of limiting your audience, because a lot of these people are just bidding and then they'll figure it out. But in all, you have to have your money in, is what he was saying when I interviewed him in the account.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, it is a good way, but I just don't think it's the best way. I think there's other ways to do it.
I tried to bid on a Formula One Topps Dynasty card. It was George Russell. I couldn't bid. I was so mad, and I was like, "Why can't I bid?" So then that's when I got him on, and I was like, "He's like, oh, you have to have money in your account." I was like, "Okay, well, didn't know that."
Yeah, let's just hope they're not stealing people's data anymore than what they did at the beginning. But I won't let people forget. But just don't, whatever you do, don't use their Google Chrome. At all. All right, Manny, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you very much. Appreciate you for jumping on the show and joining me. Obviously, Domma sipping his pina coladas doesn't give a F about us.
No.
Here, putting in the hard yards, growing the double coverage.media channel. And obviously, make sure you check out Luca Nation Network. You can find those details. I've dropped your Instagram in the description, Manny. Make sure you go follow Manny on Instagram, and then he will have links on his Instagram where you can find some of the other stuff as well. So without further ado, thank you, Manny.
Yep. Thank you. And also, Domma is the lemon of the week. I know you didn't do a lemon of the week. He's my nomination of lemon of the week. He ditched you. You guys are a weekly podcast, and he ditched. So he is the lemon of the week.
And shall we?
I think you shall.
You, sir, are a lemon. Domma, you've been given the lemon by Manny. Bang! He comes on the show first occasion, and you cop a lemon. Yep. Wow. And look, I'm not gonna say, you know what? Because if I was in Hawaii, I would have found a way to get on the pod. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I literally have to have lost my voice to not jump on the pod.
His goat Ronaldo would never do that.
Yeah.
He shows up. I'm just saying. LeBron shows up. What kind of mentality does he have? He's the lemon.
Oh, wow. That was a great way to end the show. I'm not gonna lie. It was a great way to end the show. Thank you very much. That made me laugh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Manny on Instagram, and make sure you hit it. All our social links, follow down below, like, subscribe on YouTube. That would be much appreciated. It's been your boy Saucy with Manny, drinking many pina coladas on the beach. Hope you're living, loving, and breathing all sports. It's at Double Coverage, and peace. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports. Double Curve.